in Los Angeles. This has been a hell of a year. To begin the year with the wildfires, the worst natural disaster in Los Angeles history, all of us have to be prepared for climate events, weather events. I'm an Angelino. I'm born and raised in LA. We don't know anything about hurricanes. We know earthquakes, but we do not know hurricanes. And what happened in Los Angeles was, for the first time ever, were hurricane strength winds, 100 miles an hour, that wiped out not just the Palisades, but Malibu and also Altadena. In the city of Los Angeles, though, the Palisades is the only neighborhood. Altadena is not in the city of Los Angeles. It's an unincorporated area, and Malibu is a separate city. Over 6,000 homes lost, and as Melinda and Ellen mentioned, it has been the fastest recovery, in spite of what that guy says. Yeah. I mean, it's not like Trump exaggerates. He just makes shit up. Yeah. I mean, just invents it. And we were joking before. I don't know if you've heard about the big valve, the water valve. He said that Gavin and I wouldn't turn the water on, and that's why the houses burned, and just like crazy stuff. And the water he was talking about is actually in Central California, which is like 400 miles away from Los Angeles, has nothing to do with LA. But he's talked about how I said we weren't going to issue permits for 2 years. We have approved over 700 permits for 500 homes. Over 55 homes are currently under construction now. The irony for us in LA is that one of the reasons why everything has been going so fast, because he wanted to do everything so fast, he really deployed a record number of Army Corps of Engineers to come out, and what has normally taken 12 months or longer, which is clearing the lots, we finished a week ago. We finished it in 7 months, clearing 6,000 lots, which means now everybody can rebuild. So I was thinking, it's like, I don't know, maybe this guy's got some donors in the Palisades. I don't know why he is affording us all of these resources. So we're cruising along, and then I wake up one day and just get punched in the mouth with these crazy raids. And it's hard for me to describe the fear that is in the city, especially in the Latino population, who frankly feels hunted because they have been hunted. To see masked men in plain cars, tinted windows, jump out of these cars randomly anywhere, carrying guns, with fully masked up, wearing these vests that look like they got them off of Amazon, and literally snatching people off the street if they look Latino. And then taking them away, so a family doesn't know what happened to their relative if they just got snatched off. If you got taken from a workplace, then people will know. But literally, people were disappearing off our streets. They were not allowed legal counsel. They were not allowed to talk to their family. So families were going not knowing what was happening. There were parts of our city that were a ghost town. We have a garment district with 4,000 individual businesses, virtually ghost town. Restaurants, people wouldn't go to restaurants. The first raids happened around graduation time, so graduations were down because the parents were afraid to go to the graduation. I know that there was ICE agents by my grandson's school, and so you don't know whether or not you should go to school or not. The kids didn't know. And so it's been this collective trauma over our city. But it's one thing I have to say about him, and both of us went through 4 years with him. So we knew how to deal with him. And the thing about it is that the irony is that he's a unifying force, because our city has been united. There's not one part of our city that blinks in terms of feeling like, well, it's a good idea to get rid of these people. Los Angeles, by the way, 3.8 million people, we're about 50% Latino. And so you can imagine what that means. It impacts every single part of our city. It's difficult to get your car washed in LA now because for whatever reason, they like to raid car washes. Home Depot, they chase people through the parking lots because we have day laborers. And we are very fortunate in LA, just like I'm sure you are here, where you have really solid infrastructure of immigrant rights organizations. And so they have a rapid response network that everybody knows about. So if you see an ICE agent, beginning to pull people over, people start texting, and pretty soon crowds develop. But we have to be really careful because these people are not joking, and they are looking to prosecute people with federal charges. I don't know, Mr. Chairman, I have letters from the Secretary of Transportation accusing me of participating in the vandalism. I guess I paid for the paint for the graffiti and the bottles that were thrown. And basically they're saying that, so they want to investigate me for that because the city does provide resources to some of the immigrant rights organizations. The immigrant rights organizations was not vandalizing the city. What was happening in terms of the disturbance, it was like a Lakers championship plus. So every time the Lakers win a championship, you have these big, celebrations, and then at the end of it, you have 100 knuckleheads that go off and cause problems. That's essentially what it was. They painted a picture that the whole city was ablaze. Los Angeles is 500 square miles. The protests were in about 4 blocks, which was about 1 to 2 square miles. That was it. So the majority of the city didn't even know anything was happening at all. But that's the way they painted the city. But what I feel really good about is, like I said, people have been unified. Nobody has blinked. Everybody is very clear that we are going to stand and resist this. We have had 3 great court decisions. We have a temporary restraining order saying that they cannot hunt people down. The problem is that for the first time, the problem is that for the first time in our history, we've all had to learn something about our democracy that we took for granted, and that was the rule of law. But I don't think any of us realize that the rule of law is really an agreement, meaning that every president up until now has agreed to abide by the rule of law. What we didn't realize is that if the president doesn't agree to that, what do? So we've had 3 great court decisions, 2 temporary restraining orders, and they're violating them. It's not to the volume that they were doing before, but they're still, as soon as I landed the plane, turned on my phone, I saw the raids that took place today. The other thing that has happened, and I don't know how you look at it, Chairman, but what happened in Trump's first term is they compromised the judiciary. They systematically appointed right-wing 40-year-olds so that they could be there for 40 years. They compromised the judiciary. This Congress, with the Speaker and the head of the Senate, took their gavels, went over to the White House, and handed their gavels over. So that we don't have 3 co-equal branches of government anymore. The entire government is being run out of the White House. And Steve Miller, who grew up in ultra-liberal Los Angeles, for some reason, you know what I think happened to him? I think he was the kind of guy that people would take behind the bleachers and beat up. Because he's been pissed at us ever since. And he is the one that has made sure that havoc is going to run in Los Angeles through these raids. So what means the world to me is all of the support and solidarity that I have felt walking into and meeting your friends, and all of the love and solidarity that's here, knowing that people are watching what is happening in LA and standing in solidarity, because when you're in the middle of it, you don't really know that, And so to get your support and to hear the encouragement is just fuel for my soul, and it's very, very helpful. We're going to continue to resist in LA. I've called the other mayors, and by the way, they have targeted 8 cities. And you know what the 8 cities all have in common? Black mayors. The mayors are black. That's right. And what did he start? The first day of his administration was DEI. And unfortunately for me, while I was in Ghana, not vacationing, the days before I went, it was major news in LA that I was going because President Biden had asked me to go attend an inauguration, which was completely consistent. I know when you 2 heard I was in Ghana, you said, of course she was in Ghana. Of course she was. I was there for 3 days, had absolutely no idea that we were having a problem in LA. And even our 2 fire chiefs for the city and the county never imagined that we would have hurricane strength winds. While I was coming home on that military plane, the billionaire that the chairman mentioned, and he is pissed. You can understand it. Put yourself in his shoes. He spent $110 million running for mayor. He beat your guy. He beat Bloomberg. Bloomberg spent $100 million and he won. Caruso spent $110 million to my $15 million, and we did beat him by 90,000 votes. And he's been pissed off for 3 years. So he spent 12 hours while I was getting back on TV and on the radio demonizing me. So by the time I landed, I was the DEI mayor. I was incompetent. I was over there partying in this mysterious place. And it's been difficult since then, because that narrative set in, then Fox got a hold of it, and now Trump has a hold of it. And I listen to the things he says about me, again, talking about the water, the permits, and all of this stuff that is just utter nonsense. So here I am. I can't believe I am running for re-election. I feel like I just got there. And knowing that the billionaire is still pissed. I don't know if he's running for mayor or running for governor. He's kind of deciding, but I have to run my race as though he is going to run for mayor. And I just think, again, I can't say enough about what it means that you all are supporting me 3,000 miles away. The reason I decided to run is because we have a terrible problem of homelessness. 46,000 people are asleep on the streets in LA. Los Angeles is 9% African American. Over 30% of the people who are unhoused are African American. 40% are Latino. It's an African American and Latino problem. I was concerned that we were going to move toward criminalization, which is why I made the hard decision to leave, because I loved being there. I loved working on the domestic and the international, but I could not live with myself to stay in Congress where I really didn't have to fight hard elections, while my city would be taken over by a billionaire who I knew was going to criminalize folks. He's still in the wings. Trump is already there to criminalize around homelessness and crime. And what I believe he is doing with the military, I call it dosing. He gave us a dose in LA over immigration. He gave Bowser a dose over crime and homelessness. He's talking about giving a dose to Chicago. And what he is doing is normalizing military intervention and testing the American people to see how far he can go. And I was concerned when I looked at tourists in DC who were posing for photographs with the National Guard. We cannot allow the militarization of our city ever become a normal thing. And so us standing together, because obviously they're coming here too, in New York, in Los Angeles, we have so much in common with each other. And again, I can't tell you what it means to me to be 3,000 miles away and receive the love and support that's here today. Thank you.
Bravo.